afternoon and welcome back to our weekly dose of public relations in 5, and we're doing module 6. Yes, and it is part 1. We are doing about media, and media, when we think of media, we think the news. And now we've seen so many news reports already about this pandemic that has hit the world, but let's just look at media per se. News is the information of the current share via media, different mechanisms that would then transmit the information. As public relations officers, you are going to deal with this media types, and you're going to need to understand and describe the media type that you will use to transmit the information, the current information to your audience. So let's get going. There are a few elements that we need to consider when we do the media, and what elements needs to be taken into cognizance when a news report or a news release is sent out. Proximity, events that happened nearby in a local area or more interest to those who live in that area. Yes, we want to know what is happening worldwide, but I also want to know what is happening within my town, just my town, and you can even bring it closer into the suburb. So you want news events that is of close proximity, that makes it very newsworthy for you as a reader or as a listener. So we have the local newspaper, the Daily Dispatch, for example, that is going around in this London area, and then you get the Go, that's a weekly publication, etc. You won't get the Grauwkits in East London. Grauwkits is in, what's the new name? In Grahamstown, Makanda. And then you get the Herald, that's in Port Elizabeth, etc. So the news release is of a close proximity, that an event is happening close by or in your local area. Journalists in school must ask the question often, does the event have anything to do with our school or our community? If you have a newsletter or newspaper that you want to send out, you're not going to do it about other schools or other communities. You want to do it into your community. So that is how close or nearby your audience or your reader must be. Prominence, how well known are the people involved in the story? And there you see the little lady, that the person that struck the lotto, she's going to be very prominent in the news, because she's now just the first millionaire or billionaire in the community. So you're going to make her seem or him seem very credible in the news report. There we go. The White House is of prominence. The State House is of prominence. So if you speak about the president and the governors, senators, etc. Now the other night we had the president's speech, and we all tuned in at 8 o'clock. So because that is a person of prominence, it's a newsworthy article that we had to listen to and to see. The article must be timely. Events that are happening at that time are newsworthy. Nobody wants to know really what happened last week, because last week is old news. Yes, the news can still be brought current by referring to that old news, but it is no longer so newsworthy. This is a constant problem for school publications. We don't want to hear about last year's wins in the netball match. We want to hear about what did we do yesterday in the match. School editors must ask themselves, will this still be news by the time our paper comes out? Another element is consequence. This element is all about numbers. How many people will care? If I put this article in the newspaper, How many people will share it? How many people will actually read it till the end? Consequence, this is a crucial news element that can help, for example, school journalists make good decisions about what to include in a newspaper or the broadcast. I think the latest one nowadays in the newspaper would be, or the school newsletter would be, all learners are required to bring sanitizers to school. The article must be of human interest. Situations of conflict and drama provoke usually strong emotions. That is what brings out the human element in the news article. Does it touch the feelings of the reader or the listener? Stories that touch the emotions, what SPCA did perhaps with the animals, what did shock do for the kids with cancer, etc. It must have a human interest to lure the reader or to bring the audience closer to read that article. From the highest joy to the depth of grief, human interest stories touch the reality of life. I still remember reading in the riots of June 16 about the riots of the youth that came about. It's still making news. That's why we're celebrating it yearly. It was a story of human interest. There are other elements within your textbook which you can go through on page 100 and 101. I will take you now into the second session, and that will go on to the news media, print media reports. Thank you for watching.